and I had several requests. Surprisingly, I didn't really expect that, to do another draft video. So here's one. Unfortunately, it was a terrible draft. By terrible draft, I mean wonderful draft, because it was easy. But it's terrible. It was terrible in that I mean, you don't really, it might not be so fun to watch when it's just straightforward and I can't talk about what I pick because it's so obvious. For example, here's my first pick. Yay me! I got a Sword of Feast and Famine. This is just amazing. And usually, the money cards are amazing, and that's why they're money cards. Only other card in the pack, anyways, was Corrupted Consciousness, so no big deal there. That we took the Sword of Feast and Famine. Next pick was a hard one. I looked at into the core of the Piston Sledge, the Anatomists rather, and the Burn the Impure. And I don't want any of the cure because I don't want to accidentally kill Sword of Feast and Famine because you have the two targets with it. I think the Anatomists are actually better, but because we shipped the good blue cards in the last pack, the Corrupted Consciousness, I expected people to be heavy blue to our right. So Burning the Impure may be safer, and Into the Core isn't such a strong signal for a third pick, especially with no other red in the back. And we get rewarded because the next pack has another Burn the Impure. And really nothing else that I'm even slightly interested in. And look at this. Wait till you see the next pack. This is how easy this draft was. If you think you're the stupidest person you know, if they were a zombie, they could probably work this draft. By the way, I'm recording over the draft because the audio did not work. I was speaking very quietly during the draft because I had everyone else in my house was sleeping. So another Burn the Impure or Creeping Tar Pit, Creeping Mold, and there's a couple other good choices in the pack, but I'm not going to pass up a third Burn the Impure. 3 Burn the Impures, like that's just ridiculous. I mean, and it's not even first pick onward. It's Sword of Feast and Famine, and then 3 Burn the Impures. It's all out of one pack, right? I mean, they can only come from the Besieged pack, so that's just crazy. No one really expected to see multiple ones. It was great because after the second one, no one expected the third one. The 1 or 2 games that I did get both, all 3 rather. Signal Pest was the pick here. There was a couple choices, a couple underrated cards in that pack, I think, but for what we're going for, slapping the Sword of Feast and Famine on the Signal Pest team is just great, and I'm really hoping to get some strong aggro happening here. So here, I had to actually read what Galvanoff did, and I figured Burn the Impure doesn't hit a player, so it's kind of too dangerous to actually run Galvanoff. So the Serum Maker is, in my opinion, the best card in the pack besides that, and but we passed blue. So the Ringleader was really strong. Ichor Wellspring is kind of what I'm going for because I'm hoping to get some cut off the rebirths. But I figured Wellspring is a card that does sometimes get passed, so I'm going to take the Ringleader because it is a fairly strong card. I didn't realize how strong it would be in our deck, and I wish I had taken this one too. Part of me does, because we ended up with lots of artifacts for the rebirth, but because I just picked the Ringleader over Wellspring, I picked the Wellspring here. In fact, I kind of wish I had a concussive force. Is that what it's called? In the deck, and I never managed to get that either. But I mean, you can't argue with this first pack. You'll see by the end of it. I mean, right now, that's an amazing 7 cards, and I've only picked 7 cards, so pretty strong draft. And spoiler alert, I do go on to win the whole thing. This was a interesting pick too because Spin Engine is Peace Strider. I really like Peace Strider. I like Pierce Strider more, but they're both great cards. I figured that Spin Engine fits in our deck better because of Sword of Feast and Famine. I mean, you can get it through, which is amazing. Also, with Battle Cry you get through even more damage potentially with the Signal Pest. And in the end, Spin Engine, if someone plays Peace Strider who's good against our deck, Spin Engine can block and kill it. Here, I'm actually rewarded, I think, because instead of having one of each, I think 2 Spin Engines is actually better. So, and then card paste for cheap artifacts to sack to what the rebirths I'm hoping to have, and the forge. I don't even remember the thing's name, but anyways, the dude you sack artifacts to give him +3 to his power. We have 10 playable cards out of our first 10 picks. We don't have a second color here yet. So, I mean, Turn of the Tide seemed okay, but it's not really what we're going for. Tanglehawk we probably wouldn't play either, but it seemed like the better card for our deck. Now here's where the Concussive Bolt, that's what it is, was really tempting. And in retrospect, I might have taken it, but Wellspring was exactly what I wanted, so I took it. Shriekhorn is actually playable, but when you've already got 11 playables out of the first pack, it becomes less playable. It's usually playable when you need cheap artifacts. Frantic Salvage, if I go the sacrifice route, we could have splashed in white, and we actually could have played it to get back our Wellsprings and whatever else we may have sacrificed. So 11 playables in the first pack. Not too shabby at all. And look at pack 2. Precursor Golem. Like, okay, yes, we passed Embersmith. Granted, we passed Golem Artisan. But you know what? Golem Artisan is not great in our deck anyways. This is a straight up Precursor Golem. There's no other option in that pack, really, for us. Here's a pack. The Rebirth, I'm not going to take this high, but it's what I'm after. I'm hoping it's going to table. Panic Spellbomb is kind of exactly what I'm looking for. Censor, I expect to table as well, so I don't need Censor. Censor also works in the Sacrifice deck, especially the speedy one. We don't have a second color though, so I took the Replica. I really wanted some artifact enchantment removal. I'm glad I did. It ended up that I really did actually need some. And although Replica wasn't the card I used, which you'll see in a minute, I did desperately need the enchantment removal in one game. This is another hard pick because I really wanted the Full Shock Replica. Rustic doesn't really fit the deck very well. The Rebirth obviously in Censor does, but I knew again one of them would table. And Argent Armor is kind of weak in this deck, I thought, because I'm hoping to have them killed by the time you can actually equip it. However, it seemed just too strong not to, to pass by it. Especially, I mean, it just wins games, hands down. And we did need a late game strategy beyond just Precursor Golem, as far as I thought. I mean, hopefully, our late game strategy is putting Sword Feast of Famine out in the early game, because there is no late game, and that did happen. But I took the Agent of Armor, and I think it was the right pick. I didn't end up playing it, but I did get sided in 1 or 2 games that seemed to linger longer than I wanted. I think the Snapcell Glider was the straight up pick here. I could have took the Forger because I've got the replica for the Green Splash. That just seems really bad. So I'm pretty sure that was the right pick, the Glider. And the Glider number 2 is the pick here. I don't want a Cavalier that high of pick, earlier pick, that's just terrible. Giant Defiance is a great card, but not in our colors really. It's only a splash, and the other card, the Spellbomb, was not in our colors. Here, nothing really is in our colors, unless, I mean, we splashed black rather than green. And I'd take the Replica, but I figured our Battle Gear, it's not going to fit on any Rebirth tokens we might manage to get. It doesn't get on the Signal Pest or the Spin Engines, but it gets on our Gliders for a really powerful result. And so I'll take it. It didn't get ran, but now here I was debating between. I didn't want the Dais really, although hoping for the token generators and stuff. The Dais may have been playable, but Wall of Tanglecord was more tempting, and Lifesmith was more tempting. I was really hoping to run really close to mono red, if not mono red. And that's why the Lifesmith didn't get picked here. Really, it's obviously the better card in our archetype. Wild Tanglecore doesn't really fit, but again, I was hoping for rebirths, and it seems to be a great card to go with that. Here's the second Wall of Tanglecore to go with the rebirths. 2 is really heavy in the deck, and they didn't both get played, but I have so many playables that it didn't really matter. Necrogen Sensor is the pick here. Some great cards left in that pack in blue, especially when I pass so much blue. Now, there's a rebirth, and I took a Sensor, then I took the rebirth over Sensor, and now I take another rebirth over Sensor, because Sensor it usually is a less drafted card. They're both, cards that table, but rebirth is taken more often than Sensor is, because the sacrifice deck, the Furnace Celebration deck is a pretty popular deck when people try to wing it. I don't think anyone did in this case, which is, I'm grateful for, because it would have really fooled our draft up. But still, it worked out good to see the end of this pack. We ended up with 22 playables at the end of pack 2. So our deck is almost built, and I've already hidden 1 or 2 cards that we potentially could play. But, all those cards are playable, really. And, not too shabby. So here comes the third pack. And, finally we get a bad rare. Prototype Portal is just too slow. And even if, even a control deck, it's kind of slow. But this is not the deck you played in. We need speed here. Skin Render is the best card in the pack. We haven't taken any black yet. Bleak Club of Vampires is actually strong in our deck too, because it's a really strong mid-game card for like 4 damage to the face, drain life, and getting there. But I had to take the Skin Render in hopes that we might see some more black removal and make the deck even more twisted. Wild Tanglecore is also in that, and I love Wild Tanglecore, love it, but it's just bad in this deck. This was an interesting pick. A couple of Mirror here, and I debated over that. We just took a Skin Render, so I thought about the Instill Infection. I didn't really want the Forge Master, even though it's a great card. In the end, I really thought Necropede was the right pick. We don't have, we're not playing Infect, but with 2 rebirths, Necropede gains a lot of value, because it's a great card to sacrifice. I mean, in effect, it does the same thing as Instill Infection for 1 mana less, and you get 3 tokens from it. So, I mean, it's just a great card for blocking anyways. It stops a lot of cards, and it's great against Infect in that matchup. It's a main deck card and a non-effect deck that really helps against any Infect matchup. So I took that. Now there's the Ferivore, and I basically just prayed it tabled, because I wasn't going to take it this high. I wanted to slice in twain. And that way, since I already have the replica, Skin Render's probably going to get kicked out here, because I'm going to be playing green for sure as my splash. But to me, Slice in Twain was the obvious pick in that pack, and that's the card I was talking about, artifact and enchantment removal. That was huge. It salvaged the game for me that I was going to lose in a game when someone Volition ranged my Sword of Feast and Famine. So it was good. Now, mind you, I didn't play it main deck. Look, and here's a Galvanic Blast just as a bonus for us. I mean, just ridiculous. Galvanic Blast and 3 Burn the Impure. I didn't main deck this Slice because it's double green, which, and I'm playing basically mono red deck. But there were a few games when I saw lots of enchantments that I basically bordered out 3 to 4 mountains, bordered in forests, and ran Slice in Twain. I really wanted an Assault Strobe, but the Ferivore, this is the pack to take it from, so I took it. Seeing that I might be playing green now, with the 2 rebirths and Ferivores, Molder Beast seemed like a pretty strong card, which means that Skin Render goes away. And I'm okay with hate drafting at Skin Render. There's not a whole lot of stronger cards in black. That is where the draft cuts off. Unfortunately, I get another fair for. That's the bulk.